Hey, Pranav.
Hi, Ayush.
Hope I didn't catch you right at the end of your workday. Just getting off, not too cut to
No,
cut.
it's okay. Not too bad.
Hey, Amod.
How are you?
I know I've caught you just before a meeting, so.
Yeah, but yeah, we've got half an hour.
Okay, perfect. Is Aparna joining as well?
She, unfortunately, I didn't realize has a meeting.
Okay, no worries. No, we're recording it anyways, and of course we have the group as well. So,
Yeah, yeah.
how's it been? How have you've been doing a lot of trekking in the meantime?
Yes.
So, Pranav, Amod and me
Nothing.
met last year on the Nubra Valley trek, which we do in Leh. And Amod is also coming to Kilimanjaro in a couple of months with us. So, and the middle of
Yeah,
this, he is also going to Patagonia and come back. So, he's been
Oh,
doing,
that's
him
true.
and his wife have been doing a
Yeah,
lot of trekking.
yeah.
nice. Nice to meet you all.
Same here.
Hey, Ankur.
Yeah. Ayush, you're on mute.
Sorry, we'll just give it one more minute. Just waiting on one more person to join. Otherwise, we can just kick it off.
Ayush, are you able to hear me?
You're audible. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just quickly share my screen as well. Just let me know
Okay.
so you guys can see it. Visible?
Still coming up. Okay, I can see it now.
Should be visible now. Yeah. Just a second. Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm audible, right? Okay, perfect. So we will kick this off, and my screen just went. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I think a few of the folks here do have a meeting. I think Aparna's already in a meeting. Amod has one to catch, but of course we'll continue it until all of your questions are answered. But just a quick thanks to each of you. Monday evening is not the most opportune time, but thanks for taking out some lovely minutes so we can just go through a quick orientation of the trek you're going to be joining us for. So, of course, the Goecha trek is one of the oldest treks in India. It's quite the hidden gem. It got popular a good few years ago, and has since kind of gotten overshadowed by a lot more treks and adventure tourism kind of popping off in India. But it is a fantastic trail, and it of course takes you to the foot of one of the highest mountains in the world, Mount Kanchenjunga. So yeah, a quick few details about the Goechala trek. The max altitude you reach is 4,600 meters at the Goechala Viewpoint 1, which is right under Mount Kanchenjunga, and we get to see a fantastic sunrise from there. The start and end point, of course, as all of you know, is Bagdogra. We'll be taking a drive from there to Yuksum, which is our base village or the roadhead. Excuse me. And the entire itinerary, of course, is 11 days from Bagdogra to Bagdogra till you fly out. And in terms of difficulty, of course, difficulty is relative to, experience and how your fitness is at that point, but it's a moderate to difficult trek. It is a fair distance which we cover over these 9 days of trekking. And has an altitude gain of about 10,000 feet right from when we start till Gochila Viewpoint 1, which is, of course, done over multiple days, but is a sufficient altitude that we gain. Yeah, just a quick map of our campsite. So a few of you obviously must have researched, but we'll be going in depth day by day as well. But just a small summary of sorts. So Bagdogra to Yuksom is a drive and back after the trek. Yuksom to Sachin, Sachin to Shoka, Shoka to Zongri, Zongri to Thansing, Thansing to Lamune, and Lamune to Goechala viewpoint one. And on the way back, we skip a few campsites as well, as you can see. We'll also be sharing this presentation with you later on, so you can have it handy and kind of can go through it later on. But I'll just move on at this point. Yeah, so days 1 and 2, of course, are just kind of getting into the flow of things. We arrive in Bagdogra and drive to our base camp of Yuksum. Bagdogra is, just for reference, at about 170 to 200 meters in altitude, so quite low, almost at sea level. And Yuksum, like you can see again, is not very high, but there's a sufficient amount of altitude that we gain just via the drive. Of course, because it's a drive, and you're not really trekking, there isn't much impact to the body. But of course, we recommend you kind of rest in Yuksum in the evening, not do any strenuous activity. Uh, we'll of course do a briefing in Yuksum as well, and just to kind of go through the itinerary again when we're meeting in person. The next day, of course, we start and enter the Kanchenjunga National Park, moving from Yuksum to our first campsite of Sachin. Sachin, the route on day 2, or like day 1 of our trek, or basically a trekking day, it is not very strenuous. Again, there's not a very large gain in altitude. We go from about 1750 to 2200, so about 400 meters plus of altitude gain. Again, we're ending at 2200, so it's relatively low altitude. It's not very high. You will not feel many impacts in terms of that. And the trail is, of course, quite leisurely. It's through forest. The campsite also is a very small campsite. You have sufficient tree cover, so you won't really get tired as well. And it's a nice start over about 5 to 6 hours before we reach Sachin. Following that, of course, are the two days where you may feel a little bit of, fatigue. Days 3 and 4 take us from Sachin to, the forests of Shoka. You get to see beautiful rhododendrons kind of blooming in this time period as well. And we gain about 800 meters of altitude on day 3. Moving from there, the next day is one of the toughest days of the trek, barring the final day where we go to the viewpoint. Shoka to Zongri is about a 900 to 950 meter altitude gain. This is the first time we'll cross the 4,000 meter mark. There is a spot called Devrali Top, as you can see on the screen, which is just about 4,100 meters. So we reach 4,100 and there's a small descent back down to Zongri. This day will be a little fatiguing. You may feel some, obviously not AMS or altitude sickness, but you may feel the effects of altitude to say, if because the last 2 days, of course, have been tiring. But again, we'll be taking it slow. We'll be doing a few acclimatization walks during this time period as well. The next day after this also is a buffer day and a rest day at Zongri. So there's not too much activity. It allows you a little bit of time to rest, recover, acclimatize, like we said, before we move forward. And today is a day where we get some lovely views of the Kanchenjunga range. We go to this spot called Zongri Top. It's only we go for sunrise. It's only about an hour and a half long walk from the campsite, and stay for maybe an hour or so till everyone's comfortable, and come back down to Zongri, which will then be a relatively freer day just to kind of recover. I'll just take a quick pause in case any of you had any questions, and I'll just cut short the monologue for a couple of minutes.
Hey, so couple of questions. Are you sure forest area any leeches?
Your voice is breaking, sorry.
So in the forest area, will there be any leeches? Leech?
I'm very sorry, I'm just being unable to hear the last part of that. In the forest area?
Leech.
Lee?
Ayush, yeah. Hi,
No.
Ankur, Umang this side. So it
Yeah.
depends, honestly, there has been, like from my personal experience, I've seen leeches on this trail, especially like the stretch between Sachen to Shoka, because it is like completely through a very dense forest. there could be leeches, but again it depends. Like if it is dry weather, it's not like too much of rain happened and all. It's pretty much manageable. Like you won't really find like too many of those while being on the trail. But like you need to be like prepared for it in case there are leeches around.
Okay, got it. And any river crossings, stream crossings, river crossings? So do we need to carry like footwear accordingly?
Not really. Like there would be
Yeah.
bridges, of course. Like there are a couple of bridges on the initial couple of days. So from Yuksam to Sachen, and then I mean mainly like between Yuksam to Sachen, there are I think couple of bridges, but nothing as such like a river crossing.
Yeah.
How do we prepare for the leeches?
You just
Honestly,
need to like
yeah.
maybe carry some salt. That's the best hack that I have personally like used. But I think like if you have like high ankle shoes and like proper um like basically trekking trousers and all, that will cover the initial, I mean the top part of the shoes, then it should be fine. Like it should be manageable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
And
just
are we
the,
going to get a sort of a packing list?
We'll be sharing that as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
just wanted to I just wanted to contribute with regard to how to address and tackle leeches. So last year, with a few friends, I had done the Netravati Peak in Karnataka. That the Kudremukh range has a lot of leeches. So someone had suggested to me eucalyptus oil. So amongst three of us, two of us had actually put eucalyptus oil, just a few drops, to do this and then apply it on your ankles and exposed neck areas. Coincidentally, two of us who had actually applied eucalyptus oil didn't get bit. The third person did get bitten by leeches. So from my experience, I guess eucalyptus oil is something you can consider. But
Great.
thanks for bringing up leeches because I had no idea. I thought in the Himalayas there are no leeches at all.
No, the Northeast is
So
quite famous for leeches. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, eucalyptus
yeah,
might be a preventive measure, and then like Umang said, salt and
yeah,
even turmeric is a good in case you kind of make friends with the leeches, then we can use salt and turmeric to get them off. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I've also got this leech socks, um, but I think maybe one has to use them only if number of leeches is very high because they're not the most comfortable. So
Yeah.
they'll cover your feet all the way up to almost knees, um, on top of your trousers. So they're not very heavy, but they are they are actually not breathable and all of that. So uh,
No.
we have that. So
Yeah.
maybe we carry it.
None, of course. No, so leeches, of course, we may encounter, we may not encounter, but it won't massively hamper or impact the journey. But of
I
course,
see.
good to kind of be aware and thank you for bringing that up. If you guys don't have any other questions at this stage, I'll just continue with the idea. Perfect.
Please
Okay.
go ahead.
So just another point to add, the entire trek and even the initial days, there's a lot of topsy-turvy, so it's not all up or all down. At multiple points, you are gaining altitude, kind of losing altitude again, gaining it back. When we head to the bridges, you get a little lower, then you climb again. So there is a sufficient amount of rolling terrain. So just to be prepared for that, it's not a straight ascent, straight descent at any point. Even when we head to Zongri, we go up and down. So there are multiple stages where we are going further up than required and then coming back down to the campsite. So it's a lot of rolling terrain. Moving forward from Zongri, we go the tree line kind of goes below us and we move to flatter grounds of Thansing. This again is a relatively calmer day. We're not really gaining or losing too much altitude. We're at that same altitude mark at about 4,000, about 50 meters, give or take. And this is this is when we kind of again recover a little bit of our energy. The next day after Thansing as well is only a small, very small walk, hour and a half to 2 hours, which gets us closer to our final summit push to viewpoint one. On both these days, as you can see, we get some great views of the Kanchenjunga Massif as well as Mount Pandim, which you can see in the photo. just straight up in front of you. And at sunrise and sunset, you get some fantastic colors on this. Uh, all the photographers here, these are the days which you, of course, the entire trek has some beautiful spots and monasteries and ponds and multiple hues which you're going to capture. But these days, in terms of like alpine photography, is a great opportunity. Okay. And yeah, finally, day 8, the day you've been waiting for. So today is going to be a little bit of a longer day. We'll also be starting early. It's apart from days 3 and 4, this is, of course, the last and the most challenging day where we know we're climbing and gaining altitude. A few things that just to keep in mind, the terrain will be a little tougher. There will be boulders. It's not a glacial terrain, but of course, you are climbing and it is not the most comfortable. You have left the tree line below, so the temperatures, of course, also will be dipping. And given the time, we'll be starting at, we usually start in the middle of the night, anywhere around 3:30 a.m., because it takes about 3 to 3.5 hours from Lamune to the viewpoint. And the aim to start at night is to catch sunrise, so you can get that lovely golden light on Kanchenjunga. So this is going to be a pretty long day. We start early and late. Uh, the one of the other reasons for this is when we go, of course, we'll be crossing Samiti Lake, which is one of those beautiful points you want to spend time at. We'll do that on the way back, and we don't stop at Lamune, but we come back down to Thansing. If you remember, Lamune and Thansing is only about 2 hours away. This is to reduce, of course, the time on the journey back to Yuksum. If we stay at Lamune, it adds another couple of hours for the next day, which becomes really long. So moving forward, day 9, 10, and 11, these are the last 3 days of the trek. This is when we completely descend, and it's a much faster descent, as you can probably notice. We'll be skipping a campsite on each day. So from Thansing, we come down to Shoka, and then we basically bypass Zongri, come down to Shoka, and then from Shoka, we bypass Sachin and come down to Yuksum directly. In Yuksum, on the way, when we're starting out the trek and on the way back, we'll be staying in, a lovely hotel there. And of course, kind of driving in and out. And on day 11 is the relatively long drive back through the hills to Bagdogra. And that is when you fly out. Of course, we'd recommend on the way back, if you plan to fly out on the same day, to book flights only after 3:30 p.m. It's about a 6 to 7 hour drive, about 150 kilometers, like you may have noticed earlier in the PPT. Uh, and just kind of, we'll start early just to kind of avoid traffic, get to Yuksum as early as possible in the afternoon, so nobody really misses their flights and nobody is in any kind of trouble with the airport. So that is the general itinerary. In terms of some views on the trek, like I mentioned, it's a photographer's paradise. We've been here multiple times and it never fails to amaze. You have all kinds of, uh, you know, flora, fauna, the kind of views in terms of the alpine landscape which you can get back. So multiple things to photograph, multiple memories to bring back. Some more photos, some portraits from the trail, and just a little about the accommodation. We'll be staying in tents. Also, you will notice along the trail there are huts at almost every campsite, but these huts are very primitive and quite small in nature. They're not the most comfortable to sit in. We'll be carrying tents to sleep in, as well as our dining and kitchen tents, as well as you can see in the photographs. In case there's extremely bad weather at times, it is the northeast, it is the Himalayas, and weather patterns are getting erratic. We may use the huts at times just if and when required, but the tents and our dining will be where we'll be spending most of our time at camp. Following that, of course, a lot of you have trekked before in the mountains, especially in the Himalayas and at high altitude. The system we follow is layering. It's multiple layers to kind of regulate temperature in the mountains. This is to add insulation, keep you, just keep you, what do you call, safe from the elements and not get you wet at times. Northeast is famous for the rains. So yeah, the general layers. We start off with a thermal base layer, a t-shirt. Some of you prefer cotton, some of you prefer dry fit. So a t-shirt, which is part of your mid layer. A fleece again is a middle layer, just to keep you warm, trap that heat in. And then, of course, you have your down jacket and your waterproof jacket, which are your insulating and waterproof layers, respectively. For your extremities, you have, of course, a woolen cap, also a normal cap for the day. A buff is one of the most of you will have used this by now. Buff is one of those things which I personally don't go to the mountains without. It's a very useful piece of, apparel which comes in handy for your neck, for your face, for your head. So would definitely recommend each of you carrying a buff. And of course, one or two pairs of gloves, one waterproof at least. And of course, a pair of socks. We'll also be sending you this list in, a tabular format with like a checklist. So it's easy to kind of just tick off when you're packing. But this is just a general overview of the layers you need. Just a couple of accessories as well. Your main bag, a duffel or a rucksack, preferably no hard shells because it gets harder to carry up. That will be going, you won't be carrying it yourself. That'll be going on the mules. And of course, your small day pack is what you'll be carrying, which will have some of these accessories, whether it's sunscreen, sun protection, any medications, a headlamp, a cap, a pair of gloves, and an extra layer which you may or may not need based on how the day goes. Of course, and we of course recommend minimum two water bottles, 1 liter. If it's possible, one insulated, one normal, so you can kind of have hot water for the night, and one normal water bottle which can kind of go in the bottom of your sleeping bag as well. It's a tip we've discovered after many years in the mountains, and we'll of course be sharing that on the trail as well. But this is just a general overview. I will end the monologue now and kind of open the floor for questions and any kind of doubts you guys may have.
Uh, Ayush, what's the latest that you would like us to arrive on the 22nd?
Perfect. So I myself am arriving at 8. I'll land in Bagdogra at 8. It's like I said, it's a 6 to 7 hour drive. So if you guys are arriving on the 22nd, then 9 to 10 would be the latest we'd recommend arriving because it'll take some time to get out of the airport. We'll also decide based on, your travel plans and when you guys are arriving and where you're staying. If some of you are arriving early, I know Ankur and Amod also are planning. Both of you all four of you will be there a day earlier if I'm not wrong. So we'll finalize like a central spot where we can kind of pick all of you up and then move onwards to Yuksum. So 9 to 10 a.m. would be ideal if you're arriving on 22nd.
Do you suggest we arrive a day earlier, like on the 21st, so that
It's
you
on
avoid,
personal preference
travel?
because yeah, it's on personal preference. If if you're not really too fond of, long drives in the hills, then you can arrive a day prior as well, get some rest, and then kind of join in on 22nd morning for the drive. If you're okay, kind of like technically roughing it out, it's okay to arrive on 22nd as well, like me. So should not be a problem.
Okay.
So Pranav, right? I guess you are based in Bangalore, so
Yeah.
just wanted to alert you. Um, First two of my flights have already been cancelled. Air India Express and then Akasa. Finally, I booked on Indigo. So from scheduling point of view, I think in all of these airlines are of course struggling, and in a way, I think having a buffer is better in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that
And
makes sense. Yeah.
yeah, and the one that I've booked is via Calcutta, but there is one direct flight as well, so you can
Okay.
decide actually.
All right. Yeah, cool. I think, yeah, better be safe because if so there are two available flights for me from Bangalore. One is arriving at 11 a.m. and the other one is 8:30. And as you said, I think the 11 a.m. is already ruled out because you said 9:30, 10 latest.
Yeah, 11. I mean, it's like on the fence. If you reach at 11, you'll get out only by
Yeah,
11:30, and then it just kind of snowballs, and
cool.
we reach Yuksum a little late, and it becomes a little more hectic than you'd want to. So, if you're
Okay,
okay getting there by 8:30, nothing like it. Otherwise, of course,
cool.
if you can get there a day early as well, that works too.
Okay,
So
cool.
we are arriving in Calcutta and then we are taking an overnight train from Calcutta to Siliguri.
Okay,
So
understood.
quite a few trains as well from Calcutta. So another option you could check.
We'll of course be collating this
Ayush,
info. Yeah.
yeah. What about, I mean, I I'm thinking whether or whether not to take a preventive course of Diamox because there is that height gain on those 2 days that we mentioned.
Correct.
I mean, I haven't taken it on any of the previous treks, but this one I was considering. What do you have anything that
So
what do
again,
you
this
think?
is over the many years we've seen, and like altitude affects everyone differently, and it affects the same person differently at different times as well. So there's no foolproof method of me telling you to take it or not. Diamox, like you may or may not know, it can be taken preventive, it can be taken reactive as well. So either ways, you should be fine. We don't personally like tell people that, oh, you should take Diamox before if you're even worried, because honestly you can't tell whether the body will react, how the body will react. So if you do take Diamox, of course the other thing is you have to keep taking it. You cannot stop in the middle because your body is then kind of using it as a crutch technically, because at that point you are you only, it needs it to kind of acclimatize. So unless you're like very worried, and you've had instances in the past where above a certain altitude, say 3,000, 3,500 meters, you have always kind of felt the effects of altitude, uh, we wouldn't like recommend taking it. Of course, it can be taken reactive, but again, that decision is a very personal one. Once you're on trail, you're our responsibility, and we'll make sure if you need it, you will get it. I will have enough sufficient, doses of Diamox for everyone, but as such, I don't really think it's required. You get sufficient time to acclimatize as well. Uh, we go, like you've seen from 1700, 22, 3, 4. So it's not like there's a very big gain suddenly to like from 3 to 4.5 or something. That's all. So you should be okay. We'll take it also relatively gradually, and there won't be a sudden spike at any point where, of course, fatigue is there, but I wouldn't recommend taking it or like setting your mind on taking it right.
Good. All right.
So Ayush, compared to Nubra, I guess elevation here, the absolute elevation is actually lower, even
Yeah.
at the peak. But in your opinion, this is a little bit more gradual also, the gain itself?
Correct. So like you saw, it starts off at 1750 is where Yuksum is, and it goes to
Okay.
4600, but it does so over like 8 days. About 6,
Mm.
7 to 8 days. So 1750, 22, 3, 4, then you're at 4 for a day. And even on the day you're reaching 4, you're going to 4-1 and coming down to 4. Again, on
I
the
see.
day after that, you're going up to 4150, coming back down to 4. Then you're staying at 4 the day after that also, 3954. The day after that, when you're going to Lamune also is not too much of a gain. So you're around that altitude. If you remember, on Nubra, Morobuk is at 4. So we had
Correct.
trekked and we were at 4. This time we are almost like 5, 6 days into trekking, and then you're at or staying at.
Yeah.
So body has enough time to acclimatize. Also, you're not like starting at the altitude of Leh, which is at 35. So that way, we're also driving up to 17. So the body will, as long as, of course, you're not dealing with an illness at that point, your body should acclimatize well.
Correct. Okay.
Ayush, I've heard that the valley, when we approach Tansing Lamune viewpoint one, it's incredibly very windy and cold and cloudy and all that. Is that expected even for us?
It is
Because
expected,
some of my
yeah.
friends,
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
like a friend of mine, yeah, someone who did it, I think a few years ago, he said he couldn't even see Kanchenjunga from viewpoint one because of how cloudy it was.
So, of
Is that a
course,
normal occurrence?
I wouldn't say it's normal, but it's the mountains. Weather systems usually are a little localized. Sometimes they do get erratic as well. Amod, I can just reference because I've obviously been with Amod. Roshni and Ankur I've already trekked here in the Sahyadris with. But there's multiple occasions, even when we were in Leh, where weather kind of kept changing even on the way to the pass. I'm referencing the pass because again, that was like the high point of the trek, and it rained, then the sun was out. Northeast, of course, Goecha in particular as well is kind of famous for those changes. There is a buffer day built in for that very reason. In case we don't, if there is a slight weather pattern which kind of is predicted, we will plan the itinerary accordingly as well, so that you get as good a chance as any to kind of get that view from viewpoint one of Kanchenjunga. But of course, sitting here right now, a month in advance, I can't really predict how it will be. In terms of the windiness factor, when you're at Thansing Lamune, it is leaving the tree line behind. Like you saw in the photo, it is quite wide and open. It is a valley, so all that air gets funneled in there. So it is windy. In terms of cloudy, it comes and goes, but we'll try our best to kind of make that view happen for you as well.
Is there no chance for us to go further beyond viewpoint one?
Unfortunately not. It's a question a lot of trekkers have asked us in the past. It is a restricted area. It is within the national park, and every trek, every company that takes people there, every person who treks in that area, viewpoint one is the furthest point we can take you to legally. Of course, if there's a slight chance we take you a few meters ahead, but that is the final point as such.
Got it.
Hey, how crowded will this trek be? Because I know there are quite a few groups who have started there. So do we expect a lot of crowd on the trails?
Honestly, like I haven't checked multiple groups' schedules, but it is a pretty old trail. It is still popular amongst folks. Kanchenjunga is right there. It's a very big attraction as well in that region. So we can expect trekkers around. I can't comment on the exact number, but there can be sufficient, footfall on the trail as well. But it's not going to feel like a pilgrimage. So I can assure you of that. Yeah,
It's not a point of concern, right? Because
it's
I've
not a point
I've
of
read
concern.
somewhere that Sachin and Shoka are pretty, that they're narrow terraces where we camp or something like that. So
It's
in
not a
terms of
point of
finding
concern.
space,
We've
yeah,
never
got
had
it.
that issue as such, like of there being like a severe crowd and it not feeling like a trek and more of
Hmm.
more of like you're back in the city. So we've not had that concern. See you, Amod. I will send you the recording as well. Yeah. Thanks for joining in.
So, Pranav, the campsite at Sachin is, definitely like very small campsite compared to other campsites. So there you might feel that, we are in a very small space and there are like other companies, camping arrangements around. But once we like cross Zongri, it's like open meadows and like big, beautiful campsites. So there everything would be like scattered in a way. So there you wouldn't really feel like it's too crowded. And most people like even like the tourists, they come till Shoka mainly, and then they return back. So till Shoka you might feel like it's crowded. After Shoka it would be very less people on the trail.
Our Quechua shoes are okay for the rains, the ones that we use
Again,
in
like
the end.
it depends on the condition your shoe is in. Also, most Kesha shoes they are rated like they're rated waterproof to a certain extent. They all vary based on which shoe you have. But honestly, when it comes to like waterproofing, I personally consider it to be a little bit of a myth. If there is like enough rain, anything which is waterproof also tends to get wet. But Kesha shoes are more than sufficient as such for the trail. There's no like problem in terms of grip or general, splashes and rain. Your feet should be fine.
Okay, yeah, I'm not concerned too much about the waterproofing, more about the slipping part.
No, as long
So,
as your sole is intact,
yeah,
the sole is relatively, it has those treads, it has enough gripping factor to it, you should be fine.
okay. And are we expecting any snow?
Again, like on the higher reaches, you may have snow if depends on it all depends on the weather, but not in the initial part. When you're in the forest section, Shoka, all the way to Zongri, you should be fine. After that, as and when, of course, how weather plays out there tends to be, localized small spells of snow which can happen, but like not like severe. At viewpoint one, of course, again, it's at 4,600 meters. So once you go higher, anytime it rains below, it is snowing at that altitude. So you can expect spells but you won't expect like a very big barrage of snow at any point.
Is there like a puja or something we can do to get snow?
It won't be to get snow or to not have snow.
To get snow, to see the snowfall.
I'm aware there is puja for both, so we'll try if there
We'll
is
do it.
lesser chances of snow, we'll try and do that one a small puja
Okay.
before we go.
We can, so we are going to Gangtok after Yuksum.
Okay.
We can keep stuff at the Yuksum hotel or
Yes,
that's fine.
that'll be possible. There'll be any extra stuff we can kind of leave behind, which you don't need for those trekking days. We will make a small bunch together and we'll leave it back at the hotel.
Okay. And for offloading, you'll have mules or horses or something?
Yes. Mules.
Mules. So duffel bags are okay, right? For
Yeah.
offloading.
Duffels or rucksacks are what we recommend. Anything soft
Both are
shell,
okay.
basically. Nothing with like a hard
And
casing like a suitcase because it becomes hard to carry. But yeah.
got it.
Is there a maximum weight that you would like our rucksacks to
There
be?
would be a maximum weight, around 10 kgs is what we recommend. We'll also send you we'll all send you like all of these details which we're kind of verbally discussing. In a couple of weeks, we'll send you like a manual which has all of this kind of outline. So you can go through that and you can also keep it with you as easy reference. It covers basically every point that is relevant to the trek, whether it's, the guides that are there, what the route looks like, where we're staying, the accommodation, all of that, along with, of course, like the weight limit is one of those points.
Got it. So basically our group strength is 5, I'm guessing. Is
It
that
is 5 is confirmed. There's one more person who we were waiting for. He hasn't joined the call, so he's
okay?
pretty much in. So there is 6, and there are a few other people we're talking to who can or may
Got it.
not commit, but
So 5 is minimum, basically.
5 is minimum. 5 to 6 is
Got it.
you can consider minimum to be honest. Yeah.
And who's coming along? Ayush or Umang?
I'll be
Both
there.
of you
I'll
are
be there on the trail. I'll be there on the trail. Yeah.
Yeah, miss you, Umang.
Pardon, I didn't catch that. I couldn't hear
He's
you.
not missing you.
Umang doesn't like me anymore.
No, yeah. So I'm on a different track around the same time, so I won't be able to join. But yeah, like you're tracked with Ayush as well, so you are in safe hands.
Okay, what else? What else? What else? Hey, it will be cloudy, star trails, etc. Like, do we get clear views of the sky? Any chance
Clear views off. I'm very sorry. I don't know
of
if
the
it's
sky?
of the
Of the
sky.
sky?
Again, like weather
Yeah,
dependent.
from Sachin onwards.
Possible, right?
Sachin
Possible.
onwards. Yeah. Very clear views from Sachin onwards.
Anything else? Hey, Ayush, if you can
The
send that list earlier than later.
I will send it to you tomorrow.
So the medical form, we hand it over when we meet, or
No, you
would
can
you like it
send
earlier?
you can send us a copy by say 10th of April if that's okay.
Yeah, okay.
If that's okay, yeah.
Cool.
There's a medical form.
Have you received it?
No, it's part of the registration email. I can resend it on the group
Uh,
if you guys like. You can download it. It's basically a template. It's nothing but a doctor signing off that you're fit and fine for the trek. Okay, perfect. Just give me a second. Yeah, the meeting may end in about 2.5 minutes. If we're of course still conversing at that point about doubts, you can just rejoin with the same link. But yeah, uh, any doubts? No question is a silly question.
So yeah, Yuksum to Gangtok we'll have to arrange for our travel because we'll be
Okay.
going directly. So that's something we can talk about later.
Okay. Yeah, works.
We'll
No
discuss that.
problem.
The layers are required in the daytime as well, or are these night layers? Because quite a few.
No, again, so your base layer you won't need during the day, 9 out of 10 times, unless it's like super cold and it's like very bad weather, you don't really need the base layer. We usually recommend you start out maybe a couple of degrees colder than you know would like or you're comfortable, because within the first 5 to 10 minutes your body warms up once you start walking. So at max, just your normal trekking t-shirt and like one layer. It can be a fleece, it can be a wind cheater, which in the first 10 minutes you can take off and just put it in the bag. But apart from that, yeah, layers again, it's all dependent on weather. That mix and match is kind of very on the go. It all depends on how cold you're feeling, how cold you tend to feel as well. It's all about regulating temperature. And once you're walking, one at max 2 layers is sufficient.
Network till which point?
Network would be, if I'm trying to remember, I think after Shoka is the last point you get network. After that,
Shoka would be the
yeah,
last point for network.
that's the most
And
like reliable. After that, very little chance.
Geo and BSNL.
I will confirm that to you. I'll just confirm that.
Okay. Emergency contact because
Emergency
that's
contact, we will put that in. So, friends, family, anybody wants to check in, they can. Our office is always available and we'll be trying and passing updates back as and when possible.
I think I spoke to Umang about this
Sorry, it may
a few
end.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'll rejoin
No, I think
then.
it might just end because it's showing less than a minute.
Anyway, just wanted
Yeah.
to let you know I'm a vegetarian. I have egg, just so you can plan accordingly.
No,
Like
no. So
food.
we'll also be sending a form. It's called Know Your
Yeah,
Tracker. So we kind of take in all your dietary requirements, any allergies as
yeah,
well.
cool.
So we can kind of avoid that and kind of not have any kind of emergency on trail.